Hey, come nerd out with me for a few minutes because we're about to look at some revolutionary new sports card data. And in the process, I'm going to show you 20 cards you can flip for profit.
My name is Jeff Wilson. By day, I invest in tech companies. And at night, I invest in sports cards. Join me on my journey to profit from the hobby we all love.
Hello, sports card investors, and we've got a big episode for you today. Here at Sports Card Investor, I am humbled to work with an incredible tech team that has built out our Sports Card Investor app and our Market Movers data platform. And they are constantly innovating, adding new features, and pushing the bounds of what is possible when analyzing data across the sports card marketplace. And now they've really done it. We have added a brand new feature into Market Movers Pro called Intelligence Reports that lets you see data in a whole new way. And by using this feature for just a few minutes, like we're gonna do in today's show, all of a sudden, quick flip type opportunities, as well as long-term investment opportunities, start to become really apparent. And in today's episode, I'm going to take you through this feature. And even if you're not a Market Movers Pro subscriber, you're going to find great value in this because I'm going to be giving you 20 cards that I think you'll be able to flip in the next few months for profit based upon the data that we're seeing today. And also, even if you can't afford a Market Movers Pro subscription, you can always download the Sports Card Investor app on your phone, and you can do a lot of the same type of thing. You have to do it manually. It doesn't slice and dice the data for you the way that Market Movers will, but you can look at any card in the Sports Card Investor app, and you can look at recent sales history of these cards and lightweight charts of these cards, and it will give you, with some manual work, you can do some of the same types of patterns that I'm going to show you today that expose these types of quick flip opportunities. So no matter which way you go, the Sports Card Investor app and doing the work manually, or Market Movers Pro and having all the work done for you, this is some valuable strategies you're going to see in this episode today. Let's go ahead and jump in. So the feature that we've added into Market Movers Pro is called Intelligence Reports. It's sitting over here in the menu. And what it does is it gives us grade ratios, variation ratios, and player ratios, all consolidated onto one screen in one search across more than 10,000 cards in our Market Movers database. And let me show you why this is so game-changing. So I'm gonna walk you through some different searches I'm gonna do with all the major sports. Let's look at baseball, football, basketball. I'll even throw maybe a little hockey in today because the hockey card market's been hot. And I'm gonna show you how to use these reports to your advantage and what quick flip opportunities I see right now in the marketplace. So let's start with baseball. So here we go. What I've done here is I've used the new variation ratios report to compare 2019 Topps Chrome and 2020 Topps Chrome, and specifically I'm comparing the refractor variation to the base variation. So now what this is doing is going across our Market Movers database, and it's looking at every card that we're tracking from 2019 Topps Chrome and 2020 Topps Chrome that has a lot of recent sales in the last 7 days. So we're not looking at cards that only sell occasionally. I've switched here on the screen to look at only the 7-day average, which I think is a good way to approach these reports, because what this does is it first of all, that eliminates outlier sales because you're actually looking at the average of sales over several days. And second of all, what it does is it ensures that there's enough sales activity over the last 7 days to put it on this report. So here are those cards. What we learned, first of all, is that the average Topps Chrome refractor sells for a ratio of 2.65 times more than the average Topps Chrome base card from these years. And then here you can see the individual players' cards and at what the ratio is. Tatis has the most expensive refractor when compared to base. Tatis's refractor is currently selling for a ratio of 2.85 compared to his base card. Conversely, all the way at the bottom of the list, Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s refractor card is only selling for 1.76 times what his base card is. By the way, it's worth noting that I'm using PSA 10s. I've added a filter up here to only look at PSA 10s so that we get that kind of consistency across the report, but you could also filter by other grades or even look at raw cards in this fashion. What does this data tell me? What this data tells me is that right now, Tatis's base cards are probably slightly undervalued compared to his refractor cards. And if I were to go buy Tatis cards today, with the thought that he's going to start the year hot and there's going to be some flip opportunities with Tatis, you're going to get a better value right now by buying his base cards than you are buying his refractor cards. Conversely, if you think that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is going to start the year hot and maybe get some of that momentum back, there was so much excitement about Vlad a couple of seasons ago, and a little bit of that shine has worn off. But if you feel like he's going to kind of emerge as somebody who people are really excited about again this season, go buy his refractor cards. His refractor cards are a deal right now compared to his base cards. Now, that's assuming you can find his refractor cards for, somewhere in the ballpark of what they've been recently selling for. But from a ratio standpoint, his refractor cards are the better value compared to his base card. Now, what you do see, and you'll see this as we go through the data across all sports, is that the players who are the most popular, the most sought after, those players will begin to see a bigger spread between the price of their high-end parallels, their refractors, their silvers, their serial numbered variations, and their base cards. You start to see more of a spread. For the players that are less popular, that are less sought after, the refractor, the silver, the numbered cards are sitting closer to the price of the base cards from a ratio standpoint, right? And so that's part of the reason here that Tatis's cards have started to separate, whereas Vlad's cards have remained the same. Or not the same, but they're much closer in terms of ratio value. Use that to your advantage. Use that knowledge to your advantage. If you think that there's a player that is lower right now in interest level and popularity that is going to emerge, you're often better off buying the more rare variation cards because you can typically get them for a much smaller multiple of the base card. Whereas sometimes when you get into the really, high-end players that everyone's chasing after, sometimes you can actually make more money on a quick flip by buying the base card because typically value-wise, ratio-wise, those typically present a better value and they typically will trail but follow the performance of the higher end refractors, silvers, and numbered cards. All right, let's keep this going. Let's look at 2017 Topps Chrome Baseball and 2018 Topps Chrome Baseball. So I'll remind you that for 2019 and 2020, the average was 2.65, the median was 2.24 in terms of that refractor to base. Well, in 2017 and 2018, it's a little bit less. The average is actually 1.98. The median is 2.04 in terms of comparing that refractor to that base card. Not surprisingly, Ronald Acuna Jr.'s refractor is the most expensive ratio-wise when compared to his base card at a 2.6 ratio. Look all the way down here. Rafael Devers, his refractor is only selling for 1.23 times his base card. That is barely anything more than his base card that his refractor is selling for. And as you can see, Market Movers has even flagged this here as being more than one standard deviation from the average. So we're actually computing standard deviation data to suggest to you when there's a real outlier in the data that you need to pay attention to. Because if you are looking at a card that is more than a standard deviation from the average, there is typically a hole there in the market, typically something that is off that allows you to get in before the market corrects and presents a quick flip opportunity. Right now, I think that opportunity definitely exists with Rafael Devers. And if you think that Devers is going to have a good season this year, I know he didn't as much this last year compared to the year prior for Boston, but if you think he's going to get a little momentum back this year, then go buy his refractors. And honestly, right now, I would say if you can get a refractor of his for less than like $120, somewhere in that $120 range, you're doing really, really well, considering that Acuna's are 2.6 times more than his base cards. Here's a really cool thing about Market Movers. You can go do that shopping and look at that right now within Market Movers. So here's what you can do. You can click on, first of all, you can click this button right here to chart what these Devers refractor cards have done in the marketplace recently. So there is definitely an upwards trend on them, but they're still cheap. The last sale of this was only 91 bucks. The sale before that was only $107 here in PSA 10. So you can actually scroll down here and you can look right here at what is currently for sale in the marketplace. This right here updates 4 times a day to show you the latest listings on eBay that are currently for sale in the marketplace and how far above or below the most recent sale price each of these listings are. So here we go. We've got 2 Devers cards. This one is listed at $124.99. They are not accepting offers. This one is listed for $129. They are accepting offers. Now, what I just told you was, based on those ratios, I think if you can get one of these Devers refractors for around 120 bucks, you're doing really well, and that could present a quick flip type of opportunity once we get into baseball season. What I would do is I would click right here on this listing. That's gonna bounce you over to eBay, and I would go ahead and make an offer. Make an offer on this thing for 120 bucks. They'll probably accept it because it's only listed at 129. You could even make an offer for a little less than that, and you'll probably end up getting this Devers at a really nice price. And I think that's going to present a quick flip opportunity for you as we get into the season. By the way, even if you don't have Market Movers, you can do a lot of what I'm talking about right now through the Market Movers app. And although it's not going to show you the ratios the same way that Market Movers Pro will do, what it does do is it lets you see for every single card that's currently for sale or currently in the marketplace, you can swipe up and you can look at buy now, and it will show you what all of the listings are for sale on eBay currently with the lowest price listings first, just like Market Movers does. So no matter which way you want to shop, whether it's through the Sports Card Investor app or whether it's through Market Movers, you can use that to your advantage to find really good deals. All right, let's keep going and let's look at some of these other ratio tools. So we of course have to look at Prism basketball, right? Because I just started with baseball. Let's go to basketball. I know a lot of you are certainly excited about the basketball market right now, and you're probably wondering, what is the ratio between Prism Silver and Prism Base? And are there opportunities there? So that's what I've dialed up here on the screen. I've got the variation ratios for Prism Silver to Prism Base across 2018 Prism Basketball and 2019 Prism Basketball, and I filtered by PSA 10, and once again, I'm looking at our 7-day average. What I can tell you is that on average, a Prism Silver should be selling for 3.58 times more than a Prism Base card. But man, are there some outliers. Look at this. The LeBron Silver from 2019, his first silver in a Lakers jersey, is selling for 7.44 times more than his base. That is almost double what the average ratio would be. Zion Silver is 6.39 times more than his base. And then you see Luka's Silver at 5.15, Ja at 4.97. Okay, stop there for a second, because I also want to point something else out. Another piece of data that Market Movers has in it is population reports. And when you're looking at ratios, population data can be really important to look at as well. And I am about to give you an observation right now that is extremely critical to all of you out there who are buying and selling in the ultra modern basketball market. Panini made a pretty significant change to their print runs in 2019 Prism. And we're really now able to understand the impact of that now that many cards from 2019 Prism have been graded by PSA. Look at what I'm talking about. Let's compare Zion's 2019 Prism Base, currently a population count of almost 15,000 PSA 10s, to Luka's 2018 Prism Base, also a population count of right around 15,000 PSA 10s. So their base cards have almost the exact same population count at this point in time. Now, we could reasonably expect Zion's base cards to continue to go up and up and up and up and up in population, much faster than Luka's cards because of the fact that there are probably, many Zion cards sitting in PSA's backlog still to be graded. There's probably many fewer Luka cards. So Zion's cards will absolutely overtake Luka's cards in terms of base population, even though right now they're both about 15,000. But look at their silvers. Zion only has 1,078 silvers. Luka has almost 2,000 silvers. What does this tell you? The ratio right now between base and silver in 2019 Prism, silvers are about half as common in 2019 Prism than they were in 2018 Prism compared to base cards. Silvers in 2019 Prism, let me put it another way, are about twice as rare as 2018 Prism silvers when compared to base cards. What this tells me, if all things are equal in the marketplace, if all things are equal, 2019 silvers should be selling for double the ratio of 2018 silvers, because 2019 silvers are inherently more rare compared to the base cards. So they should be selling for a much higher ratio. Yet Zion's at 6.39, which is a little bit bigger than Luka at 5.15, but Ja's down at 4.97. Ja's silver, despite less than 1,000 of these on the market, is only selling for 4.97 times more than his base, whereas Luka's silver is selling for 5.15 times more than his base, yet Luka's silver is twice as common in relation to his base card. There is a tremendous buy opportunity right now on the silver cards of a lot of the 2019 basketball Prism class, especially Ja Morant, if you are a believer in Ja emerging as that top player, or at least a 1A, 1B situation with Zion from that 2019 class. There is also a buy opportunity right now on Tyler Hero's Prism Silver, on RJ Barrett's Prism Silver, on Kobe White's Prism Silver, because these ratios really should be higher given how rare their silvers are in comparison to their base cards. So you could also say it the other way. 2019 Prism base cards are kind of overpriced. 2019 silver cards are undervalued. Conversely, 2018 base cards from Prism are kind of underpriced. And 2018 Prism silver cards may be a little bit overpriced. So right now, based on this data, and you can see this pattern all the way on down the page, right now on this data, if I'm buying 2019 Prism, I'm buying silvers. And if I'm buying 2018 Prism, I'm buying base. Now that again is assuming I'm looking for somewhat of a quick flip opportunity. Base cards may not be the best ones to hold on to for long-term investment because they are inherently common. And so for long-term investment, you are generally always better off trying to get the rarest card you can. But if this is a card you're looking to try to sell in 3 months, 6 months, maybe even a year, I think there's base card value in 2018 Prism, and I think there's silver card value in 2019 Prism. Okay, guys, let's continue to move on. Now, here's another really cool type of report you can do using these intelligence reports. You can do player ratios. So you can compare players to one another. So we were just talking about Luka, and let's take a look at Luka and let's compare him to his contemporary from the 2018 draft class, Trae Young. You know, this is 1A and 1B from the 2018 draft class. Let's compare all of Luka and all of Trae's cards alongside each other. And to do this player comparison, you need to look at 2 players from the same draft class so that you're looking at kind of apples to apples if you're going to be comparing all of their rookie cards together. So what this shows me, this is actually really interesting data, right? What this shows me is there are some Luka cards, including, by the way, his Prism Silver in PSA 10, that are selling for 3.5 times or more what Trae Young's cards are selling for. But as you scroll down, there's also some Luka cards down here that are selling for only 1, 2x, something like that. Like Luka's Prism base card is selling for 2.75 what Trae's Prism base card is selling for, whereas Luka's Prism Silver card is selling for 3.52 what Trae Young's silver card is selling for. That's kind of interesting. Now, again, as I said earlier, you tend to see the more popular a player gets, you tend to see their more rare silvers, refractors, etc. begin to separate themselves from the base cards. And so Luka's cards are more expensive and more sought after than Trey's cards. So that probably explains why his Prism Silver is selling at a higher ratio than Trae Young's Prism Silver. But if I'm in the market to buy Trae Young cards right now, I'm absolutely buying his Prism Silver card, not his Prism base card. Despite what I just said, that I think in general, 2018 Prism presents opportunities around base cards. But in this case, because of the fact that Luka's silver card is selling for a much higher multiple than Trae's silver card when you compare Luka's base card to Trae's base card. If I were investing in these two players, I'd invest in Luka's base card and I would invest in Trae's silver card. But there's possibly a better buy opportunity than any of these. Look up top here. Look at Luka's 2018 Optic Orange card numbered to 199. Now that is obviously a very rare, serial numbered card out of the Optic set from 2018. That card recently sold for $6,550. The last card of Trae's from that same set that sold for $1,450. And by the way, these are really low pop count cards. Trae's card's a pop count 34 in PSA 10. Luka's card is a pop count 33 in PSA 10, right? This, to me, this ratio is way off. There is great value in this Trae Young 2018 Optic Orange number to 199 if you can get that card for really anywhere less than maybe about, $2,500 on down. $2,200, something like that, I think would present itself with really, really nice value for you if you could get that card for this price. So let's click this button right here to jump over to eBay and see which of these cards are currently for sale on eBay. Okay, so here you go. You actually have several of these PSA 10 Trae Young cards for sale right now on eBay. Now, none of them are at the price I just said. I said I would really like to get this card for like maybe around $2,200. I think you'd get a very good value there. And then based upon what the Luka card recently sold for, I think you'd have some good value there, going forward. This one's at $2,700 or best offer. This one's at $29.99 or best offer. This one's at $2,600 or best offer. $3,500 or best offer. $4,800 or best offer. $29.99 or best offer. Here's what I like. There's 6 of them on the market right now. That's a lot of this particular card on the market, considering that there's only a pop 33 of this card. There's 6 of these cards on the market right now. I would put it in an offer to every single one of these sellers. I might start it down to like $1,800 and see where you end up going. If you can get the card for $2,000, you got, in my opinion, a really good deal on your hands for a very low pop card. Even if you can get it for $2,200, I like that buy, considering that a Luka just sold for over $6,500 of the same type of card. I like that buy, especially considering how low of a population that card is. Okay, let's keep going. Let's do this player comparison right now with Zion and Ja. This is, kind of a fun one to look at as well. And this one is crazy. This one is crazy to look at because this is something you don't see very often. There are a bunch of Zion cards, including his Prism Silver in PSA 10, his Optic Hollow in PSA 10, etc., that are selling for more than Ja's cards, right? They're a ratio of 1.19, 1.18, so they're selling for a little bit more. You can see the price comparison there, a little bit more than Ja's cards. But as you go down the list, there's a whole bunch of Ja cards that are selling for more money than Zion cards. It's really wacky. There is some Ja cards that are selling for double what Zion's cards are selling for. Look, his select premier level, Ja's cards are literally selling for double what Zion's cards are. His select courtside, his select cards are all doing this. His select cards are all selling for double Ja's cards are compared to Zion's cards. Yet Zion's cards up here, like his Prism and his Optic, are selling for more than Ja's cards. That is a weird phenomenon that you do not see very often in the sports card market, but right now, this presents a very serious buy opportunity, and it just depends which guy you want to buy. If you like Zion and you want to buy some Zion cards, then goodness gracious, come down here and get his select cards, because all of Zion's select cards are a steal right now compared to what Ja's select cards have been recently selling for. Conversely, if you're a big believer in Ja and you're trying to get Ja cards, the best Ja cards you can get right now are his Optic and his Prism Silver, if you're going to compare that over to Zion's cards, because they're less than Zion's cards. So one would stand to think that at some point in time soon, this will all normalize and you will see a standardization where either all of Zion's cards are more expensive than Ja's cards, which is how it used to be, or all of Ja's cards are more expensive than Zion's cards, which is the trend, the direction that things seem to be trending. But one way or the other, this will likely normalize whichever way you believe in, Zion or Ja, or even if you believe in both. Even if you like both Zion and Ja, then go get the Zion cards that are selling for less than Ja's cards, and then go get the Ja's cards that are selling for less than Zion's cards. Really interesting market opportunity right now. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going, guys. Okay, now here, let's switch to football. I wanted to compare Josh Allen to Lamar Jackson and see what these guys are up to here. And so this is really interesting. You can see that there's some Josh Allen cards, like his Prism base card, that is selling for almost the same price as Lamar Jackson's cards, a 1.17 ratio. But there's some Josh Allen cards that are selling for more than double, even one that just recently sold for 5x what a Lamar Jackson card sold for. But here's a lesson. Pop counts do matter. PSA population counts do matter. And you can see it on this data more strongly than any other data that I've looked at. And let me show you why. The Prism base card of Josh Allen's in PSA 10, that is a population 799 card. The Lamar Jackson Prism base card in PSA 10, that is a population 530. There are actually more Josh Allen Prism base cards in PSA 10 than there are Lamar Jackson cards in PSA 10 from that 2018 Prism base. That explains why those two are selling so close in price. Whereas if you come up the list and you look at something like, for example, the Optic card, the Optic base card, there's only 387 Josh Allen Optic base cards, PSA 10, but there's 1,198 Lamar Jackson Optic base cards in PSA 10. That's why the Josh Allen is more than double in price, the Lamar Jackson. And if you go up the list, it becomes even more clear with these substantial population count differences between Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, causing the multiples of Josh Allen cards to become more and more valuable compared to Lamar Jackson, as the population count of those Josh Allen cards becomes smaller and smaller, becomes more and more rare. So that's an interesting comparison right there. Now, if you are going to invest in Josh Allen, I think your opportunity right now, out of all of these cards, I would absolutely buy this Optic Holo card in PSA 10. First of all, it is a lower pop count than the Lamar Jackson Optic Holo PSA 10, 97 compared to 142, even though they're still within the same ballpark of price. But look at this, guys. You can get Josh Allen's 2018 Optic Holo in PSA 10 for less money. It's right around the same price. It's a couple dollars less than his Prism base in PSA 10, yet it is population-wise, it's like 15% of the population. There's only 97 Josh Allen 2018 Optic Holos in PSA 10, whereas there's 799 Josh Allen Prism base cards in PSA 10, yet they're right around the same price. And this is a buy for me right now. If you want Josh Allen, if you think he's an investment to hold going into next year, buy this Optic Holo PSA 10 right now. If you can get that for even $1,000, $1,100, $1,200 or less, that for me is a buy right now because of the extremely low pop count and the fact that it's hovering around the same price as his Prism in PSA 10. Okay, let's keep this train going. Let's compare Mahomes to Watson. Actually, you know what? Let's see, what have we done here? Oh, this is interesting. Let me take you somewhere else first. I want to show you one of the cool things about variation ratios is you can also compare across sport. Let's do a quick comparison of basketball to football across Optic so that you can see these Optic Holos. And what you'll notice here is that Optic Holos in basketball are inherently more valuable than Optic Holos in football. And so if you, like for example, If you look down here, Josh Allen, that's that optic hollow I was just talking about. That is his optic hollow compared to his optic base is a 1.68 ratio for Josh Allen. But if you go all the way up here, you've got like Luka's optic hollow to his optic base is an 8.32 ratio. 8.32. Trae Young is 6.99. Josh Allen is 1.68. That's like a crazy magnitude difference between football and basketball. And what this tells me, and you can see, by the way, it's the same for Lamar. It's the same for Saquon Barkley. I'm looking at all 2018 cards here. Their hollows are so undervalued compared to their basketball counterparts. I think that there could be a run on optic hollow football cards in general in the future, considering how low they are trading compared to what the optic hollows are over in basketball compared to optic base cards from a ratio standpoint. Data, by the way, which never would have been possible to really see in this type of detail before if it wasn't for these intelligence reports and market movers. And I'm going to give you a couple more quick flip opportunities here before we go, but let me just mention, if you're digging this and you like this type of stuff and you want to dig into this data yourself and just nerd out because there is so much to look at here, subscribe to Market Movers. Market Movers Pro, go to marketmoversapp.com, or actually what you can do is just go to sportscardinvestor.com and click on Market Movers in the main menu bar and subscribe to Market Movers Pro, and you get instant access to all of this. All of this. I'm telling you, if you use these reports properly, you will make your money back very, very quickly. Every single month, you will make your membership fee to Market Movers. It will not be a problem if you use these reports well to your advantage. Okay, let's move on to comparing Patrick Mahomes to Deshaun Watson. I think this is an interesting comparison because Deshaun Watson right now, there's a lot of heat around him in the football card market because people think he's going to get traded. He's going to land with a different team. So if you were to buy a Deshaun Watson card right now, what would be the best Deshaun Watson card to buy from a value standpoint? Well, maybe we can answer that question by comparing Deshaun Watson's cards to Patrick Mahomes' cards, because Patrick Mahomes' rookie year and Deshaun Watson's rookie year, both 2017. So let's see what their cards are doing in comparison to each other. This is really interesting. There's some Patrick Mahomes cards that are selling for as much as 10 or 11 times what Deshaun Watson's cards are selling for, and there's some that are only selling for 5 or 6 times what Deshaun Watson's cards are selling for. The one that's selling for the most comparatively is the Silver PSA 10. Patrick Mahomes' Silver PSA 10 from 2017 is selling for almost 11 times what Deshaun Watson's 2017 Silver Prism PSA 10 is. I like that ratio in Deshaun Watson's favor. If I am investing in Deshaun Watson cards right now, even though all of his cards have already gone up considerably over the course of the past month on the news that he might get traded away from the Texans, I'm buying that Prism Silver, because the fact that his Prism Silver cards are 11x less than Patrick Mahomes' card, that is a better value than buying something like his Optic Hollow, which is only 6x less, or his Select, which is only 5x less than Patrick Mahomes. I like that Prism Silver for Deshaun Watson. All right, let's keep the party going with just a couple more. And what we're going to do now is we're going to switch to grade ratios. I haven't even gotten into grade ratios yet, but grade ratios are one of just the most straightforward, simple way to look at ratio data and see where there are outliers in the marketplace, where there are inefficiencies in the marketplace that may present quick flip opportunities for you. So real quick, let's look at this. I'm comparing PSA 10 to PSA 9 across all of 2019 Prism basketball. Looking at PSA 10 to PSA 9 across all of 2019 Prism basketball. The average PSA 10 card is selling for 3.47 times more than the average PSA 9 card. And here you can see what they are all individually selling for. Cards at the top of this list probably present value for PSA 9. Right now, there is a lot of value, in my opinion, around Tyler Hero's 2019 PSA 9 card and RJ Barrett's 2019 PSA 9 card, because their 10s are selling for 5x more than their 9s are selling for. So if you want to get in on Tyler Hero or RJ Barrett right now for a quick flip opportunity, same would be true with Rui. Same would be true with Kobe White. If you want to get in on any of those guys for a quick flip opportunity, grab their PSA 9s, because their PSA 9s right now are significantly undervalued compared to their PSA 10s, with that ratio all the way up at 5 or above, when the average ratio is 3.47 in 2019 Prism basketball. Finally, let's give hockey a little love, guys. Let's do one of these reports on hockey, because hockey cards have been hot. Let's look at this PSA 10 to PSA 9 grade report on hockey. And the same deal here. The average PSA 10 in hockey, and I'm looking right now at 2019 Upper Deck. The average PSA 10 in hockey in 2019 Upper Deck is selling for 3.11x the PSA 9. Yet you've got Kale Mocker and you've got Quinn Hughes that are both almost 4x. So if you like Mocker or if you like Hughes, I would go for their PSA 9s. Conversely, at the bottom of the list, there may be some value in PSA 10s over here comparatively to what they are selling for in PSA 9. So again, just kind of a quick, easy flip opportunity. Grab the lesser valued of the card. In particular, the PSA 9s often present value because when you see those types of ratios get above the standard deviation, go above the norm, oftentimes the PSA 10 leads the market, meaning it's the first to start going up, and then the PSA 9 trails. So you can use these intelligence reports and market movers, or you can look at the recent sales in the Sports Card Investor app, and you can switch between PSA 10 and PSA 9 to look at recent sales within the app to see what that ratio is that they're selling for. And if you start to see that ratio get to a gap of 4x, 5x, then oftentimes there's value to be had in the PSA 9, and oftentimes it will present a quick flip opportunity because typically those PSA 9s will catch up in value pretty quick after the PSA 10 starts to move. Okay. Whew. Wow, I need to catch my breath. We just went through a ton of data and information. I hope you enjoyed it, guys. Let me know what you thought of today's episode in the comments below. And once again, if you want to nerd out on this type of data, first of all, download the Sports Card Investor app. It is free in the App Store, totally free. But then if you really want to get into the data and find these quick flip opportunities, you got to have Market Movers Pro. Go to sportscardinvestor.com and click on Market Movers in the main menu bar. You will be very happy that you did. Thanks for watching, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day. See you back in a couple of days with our next episode.